from everywhere that they weren't shooting them from. Like I said, these dudes were 4 for 14. Like, what make you think you gonna hit a three at the end of the second half that you wasn't hitting in the beginning of the first half?
Right. Now, I've seen that throughout this entire tournament. I've seen some guys, they have range, but they just have shot ill-advised shots. I mean, from way beyond the arc. Like, and it wasn't even in a pressure situation where the shot clock was going down or time was about to expire. It was just one of those things. Like, let me just pull up and show everybody what kind of range I have.
Yeah, if Nick was doing the game, he'd be calling a bunch of heat checks. That's a heat check right there, Bob. Shout out to the highlight.
Oh, he's Johnny on the spot.
The human highlight film. What was back to the Wisconsin game real quick before we move on to Michigan State and Louisville. The other thing the thing that Wisconsin did that was so impressive, other than shoot the threes, they did work early. Like the whole Frank Kaminsky thing early, getting them boys in foul trouble, it really helped. It really opened up everything for them, because then you talk about Arizona having to go to that bench earlier than they wanted to. What was the kid's name? Ashley? Ashley is the kid that got into foul trouble. And then
Brandon Ashley. Yeah, Brandon Ashley.
And then what you end up doing is, like in so many of these tournament games, this is why the whole thing about, this Wisconsin team. Like, okay, Sam Decker, if you're looking for him to go 5 for 6 from three again, I'll wait.
Forget about it.
Yeah, I'll wait.
Forget about
because
it.
This is what this tournament, this whole March Magic and March Madness thing is all about. Some dudes just get outside themselves, and the next thing you know, you got to do, like you're looking for Frank Kaminsky to do work. You're looking for that to happen. He got his 29, but then you get another 27. It's a college basketball game where okay, if you score 60 points in the college basketball game, that's like, wow, these dudes scored 60-some points. So let's say it would have been that way. You got 29 and 27 from two dudes, and they scored 85. So more than half of their points came from two dudes. And like Decker's he's a nice kid, nice player, but like I don't see that performance repeating itself.
That was his March moment.
Yeah.
That's what that was. That was his March moment. That's all.
Michigan State, Louisville. My boy Montrez got to go home. But he won't be there for long.
He's going to the league.
Yes, he won't be there for long. Look, when you see that dude, it's like his name has to be Montrez. You know how sometimes you look at a dude and be like, you know what, you look like a Jeremy. Nah. Nah. This dude looks like his name is Montrez with an L, by the way. He just looks like that. But speaking of Montrez Harrell, didn't have his best game, man. He put a little work in on the boards, couple rebounds, but as far as scoring presence inside, he didn't really give Louisville much, and it's a shame because you would think against that Michigan State team he would be able to be more effective than he was. And at the end of this game, this is the game that I was more so listening to. I was doing some stuff downstairs and I wasn't really watching, but yeah, when college basketball happens. It happens. At the end of that at the end of regulation, excuse me. What was this kid's name? How could I? Mango Mathiang. Whatever. I can't say his name. Mango Mathiang.
Mathang.
Right. He had a point blank putback. Point blank. Which would have turned that play into it because he got fouled in the regulation, which would have turned into an and one. Which, if everything played out the way it played out, he hit the first free throw. I mean, got a hell of a roll on it, but it went in for the point. But in true college basketball fashion, he misses. This tall human being misses from 2 feet out, forcing him to go to the line. Which we all know how those things turn out. Yeah, emotional immaturity. So he hits the first free throw. He's surprised it even goes in. No one's more surprised than him. Then blows the second one. So now we're headed to overtime. Now we get to the overtime session. And the Dawson kid, same type of play, but a much more difficult putback. He gets the putback towards the end of overtime, which ends up being the difference in the ball game. And you look at stuff like that, like free throw shooting, just making the play, making the simple play. Yeah, you got fouled, but no one hacked you. If you're the African kid, no one hacked you. You had a lapse of concentration, and you blew a 2-foot shot. That inevitably, when it's all said and done, guess what? Now your team's at home, and Michigan State moves on, and everyone's talking about this great job Tom Izzo has done. But the margin of error is so slim when teams. We talked about it like 2 weeks ago. Waiting for the Sweet 16 to get here and the Elite Eight, because then you get to see the good teams, the better teams, I should say, in college basketball, where they're not going to really play a whole lot better as far as hitting shots, but the games will be more competitive, and you'll get to see these quote unquote great coaches do their thing. That's the other thing. Yeah, you can't shoot 18% in the second half. If you're Louisville, you can't do that, and you can't give up as many transition points as they did. And if you wonder what I'm doing, I have notes on these things because I knew I wasn't gonna remember half this stuff. But you can't give up that many transition points. The most you've given up all tournament long, and then you can't shoot 18%. What is that? So, and there's where I kind of like look at guys like Montrezl Harrell in that situation, because he's the guy that's going to get the high percentage shots down low, and give Michigan State and Tom Izzo credit. It just didn't happen. They seem to be a lot more emotionally engaged. Not like that's
well,
make a difference.
Well, I'm saying, but we had talked about it. I mean, since the tournament started, and how Tom Izzo always has his teams prepared for this moment, and here they are. I mean, so this is what people expect out of Michigan State. If they fall off in the tournament and don't make it this far, okay, but for the most part, people know that Michigan State, when they're having a Michigan State kind of year, this is what they expect out of the Spartans and Tom Izzo, plain and simple.
I think it's awesome how they lost the game early in the season to like Texas Southern or something. That's a black school, ain't it? You'd know this.
Yeah, that's where Mike Davis. I was telling you, the former head coach at Indiana. That's where he is.
You did tell me that. Yes, yeah, they beat Tom Izzo's boys. So somebody from some Texas Southern alumni probably out there like, you know what? That means we could have been in the Final Four. Of course you could have.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
right. Hey, but you always talk about the names for these players. Now, we haven't talked about Shaquan Aaron from Louisville, Shaquan, and how about that point guard from Michigan State, Lou Rawls Nair?
But see, the thing about, like, to get on the all name list, it got to be spelled. Like, is Shaquan spelled the way you would expect Shaquan to be spelled?
How would you expect it to be spelled?
Two different ways. You can spell it with the CHE, or you can do it with the SHAY.
Well, they did it SHAQQUAN.
Oh, 2 Q's?
Yeah.
Oh, done.
Shaquan.
Change approved. Yeah. Change approved. It's 2 Q's because it's like 2 different names. It's like Shaq and Quan.
But it's put together.
Outstanding.
There's no hyphen.
Outstanding. That is.
He got 2 nicknames.
That is outstanding, dude. His mom was like,
his mama called him Quan and dad called him Shaq.
It's like, I don't know which one I want to choose. The nurse was like, choose both of them, ma'am. You know what? I'll do that. We'll call him Shaq Quan. That is outstanding.
But this dude, Lou Rawls, his first name is all put together.
I ain't mad at that.
LOURAWLS.
You know what? I ain't even mad at that. First of all, because it's Lou Rawls, first and foremost. But, like, and the other part about that, like, because when I heard it, Lou Rawls Tum Tum, I was like, wait a minute. Is this kid's real name? And they was like, no, his nickname is Tum Tum. Like, you can't get on the list if you got a nickname. That don't count. But when they was like, Lou Rawls Tum Tum.
Lou Rawls Tum Tum.
I was like, he may be in contention. But he wasn't. Nah. He wasn't in contention. The game that we haven't gotten to, the Duke game. The Duke. I keep thinking about, like, this kid, the Okafor kid, Jalil. I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, man, I remember what my thoughts were on Jared Sullinger when he was at Ohio State, and I kind of have the same kind of thoughts about this kid, Jalil Okafor, before we get into start talking about the game. Because I'm watching him play, and I've seen him play at least now throughout the tournament and during the regular season, at least, I don't know, 6 or 7 times. And I'm looking at him, and he's still a young kid. He's 18 years old. So his body isn't as developed yet as it may well be. But I don't know if you saw this like last week or the other week. But Jared Sullinger, he's struggling with his weight. You know what I mean? And he was always a soft, not soft as like he didn't being weak, but like his body is like, you know, kind of a mushy, not very, very developed body. And even now as an NBA player, he's the same way. And he talked about him struggling with his weight after being injured in that sort of situation. You know, he had back problems as well, and that can come from, you know, you carrying around too much weight as well. So I look at Jahlil, and I'm like, man. And the fact that he plays for Duke, and I know for the longest while, like Coach K didn't believe, I don't even know if he still does, but didn't believe in weight training for his basketball play or for his players. So I'm looking at this kid, and I'm like, man, him, because the draft will be coming up here soon. Huh?
What do they do? What do they do?
Well, you know,
like a lot of,
you know, for a long time, that used to be the case for a long time, and just in basketball, period.
Body resistance?
Shoot basketball. Like, shoot the basketball. Like
just shoot the hoop.
Like really, until like the days of like guys like Michael Jordan, basketball players didn't lift weights because everyone felt like it would throw your shot off. You know, if I start lifting weights and get too bulky, my shot would be off. And then guys like Michael Jordan started hiring trainers and stuff like that. Well, Larry Johnson can really shoot. He can really shoot the basketball anyway. Like he was a big, power forward, muscular dude.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So it didn't matter to him. But like, you know, the skill guys, the shooters, a lot of times they wouldn't like that. That was a trend started by Michael Jordan, as far as I know. You know, the guys who started, and with him, it was more about necessity. Dudes was kicking his ass, and he needed to put on some weight. So it was like, all right, I'll just adjust his shot, but before, you know, Dennis Rodman kills me or something. So yeah, I had that thought about the kid. Like, I wonder, because now we're gonna get to the point where in the next week or so, well, it's already been talking about, you know, who's gonna be the number one pick in the NBA draft. It's gonna be him, Karl-Anthony Towns. Like, these two dudes are pretty much the consensus for who's gonna be the number one overall pick. And I don't know. I want to see these two dudes play in the championship game. Honestly, I want to see these two dudes banging around in the championship game, just to see, you know, good against good, iron sharpen iron. You know, that whole deal. As far as the game goes with Gonzaga, this is something that's been talked about all year long. The fact that Duke, and it kind of is more prevalent now, that they only have 8 scholarship players on their team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, out of what's a college basketball team? 13, 14 dudes.
Only 15, 15, and they just out 12.
Yeah, so, you know, 8 of those dudes are scholarship dudes. Now they're good. You know, the Winslow kid, Cook, the Jones boys, and then obviously Okafor. The ones they have are good. That's why people like that whole Syracuse situation, not to even worry about it, because it's not like USC where you get decimated. If you recruit right, I mean, Duke is showing you now. Put 8 dudes on the court that got scholarships, and let's go. You know, if they the best, you know, one of them is a consensus best in Jahlil Okafor. What else happened in that game? Justice Winslow. Goff tweeted, he's that whatever the hell you need type of dude. Like, whatever you need at that time. You need to steal, you need to charge, you need to block, you need a big 3. This kid, Justice Winslow, whose dad actually is a member of Phi Sigma Gamma with Hakeem and, well.
Really?
No, his name was Akeem. Yeah, his name was Akeem then. And he changed it, put the H on it.
Right.
Him and Clyde Drexler and those boys. Right. I don't know what that means in the Muslim world. Maybe someone can send us a tweet or an email at Sports Kings Live and at Sports Kings Live at Gmail.
What Akeem means?
No, like, what's the difference? Like, once you put the H on it, is there some sort of a deal with that, a story behind why someone would do that? Put an H on Akeem to make it Hakeem? Is it more prestigious, or I don't know, whatever? I'm sure someone who's of that faith knows, or maybe it's just nothing. You know, maybe it's just, you know, he felt like doing it.
Maybe,
like,
I mean, when did he do that? Was that before or after coming to America when he put the H on?
I don't know, and I would venture to say it has no bearing on that grown man's decision to do so.